Welcome, everybody, to Ringside Chaos. And if you're just tuning in and you hear a weird voice at the beginning, don't think the Bear Man is not on this episode. It just so happens to be I am still part of Ringside Chaos. And Mr. Bearman, I need you to let the fans know that manly bear voice is still on the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am Alex Alcazaz, aka the Bear of Texas, and of course, I'm not going anywhere. But for such a special, needed episode, I have to bring in my mentor, my friend, and my teacher, Ricky Litwinkwich, aka the Master of Mayhem. Ladies and gentlemen, he is New York City's finest, and New York City's finest has to team up with Texas's finest. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. It's time to talk about night one, WrestleMania.
Alrighty, so on this episode, there are a lot of different ups and downs. Not to steal anybody else's material about calling it an up and down WrestleMania. It was more like the roller coaster on night one. Preemptively, we knew walking into night one of WrestleMania, there were not a lot of ticket sales going on. There was not a lot of high level performance matches going to be on this card. I will start off with a little bit of a conundrum about the way WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 are going to have starts. Now, Bearman, could you explain to everybody the conundrum of how both nights are going to start?
I mean, to be honest, it's such a mysterious conundrum that I really honestly don't know what to say. And everybody's wondering why. Why, Bearman, did you not preview WrestleMania? Do you want to know why?
Why, my friend?
Because, as what I've learned as a podcaster, as a journalist who went to school and got a journalism degree, you want a story to be as negative as can be. And since I was not looking forward to WrestleMania and I want to keep negativity away, I just thought, you know what, we're not going to bother because even though lately, I'm sure y'all have noticed, the episodes have been quite short for Ringside Chaos, you know what? When it comes to something like WrestleMania, there's no such thing as a short episode. So you know what? It was not worth the time. It was not worth the energy. But don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like I had zero intention of not watching. But I regret to inform you, I did not watch because unfortunately I did not have access. But thankfully, I have a friend like Ricky who kindly kept me posted along with several other loyal friends and loyal listeners. So I thank you all, and I thank you as well, Ricky.
You're welcome, my friend. So, here is my first gripe about WrestleMania Night 1. Okay? Now, obviously, ESPN Plus are great proprietor ways of being able to watch anything for a WWE PLE, aka pay-per-view. Because guess what? Regardless of whether you want to call it a premium live event, everybody still has to pay for it.
Right.
However, this year, the Brain Trust over at TKO and WWE decided, hey, let's air the first hour of Night 1 and Night 2 on regular ESPN. Regular ESPN, not ESPN Plus, not ESPN The Ocho, not ESPN 163, regular ESPN. So, yours truly sat there and watched hour 1 of WrestleMania 42 on regular ESPN. To which the first match that I am granted lovely carnage of is not something I would dare to even watch on a PLE. And that just so happens to be the Usos and LA Knight versus Logan Paul, I Show Speed and Austin Theory. Bearman, could you please just kindly give me a little bit of an emotion about your thoughts on this match? Because I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Prelim, this is not something I want to watch as the lead-off match for WrestleMania.
I mean, I can't even think of a better way to have started. I mean, the fact of the matter is, everybody was wondering what are they going to do with LA Knight, because I can tell you this, that if LA Knight was not featured at WrestleMania at all, a lot of fans would be angry. And I mean angry. Now, as far as the Usos being back together, a lot of fans are not happy about that too. I mean, there's a lot of things that fans are not happy about as far as WWE goes. And you mentioned ticket sales earlier. Well, that's a huge part of it. But the stale storylines and whatnot, I mean, there's a lot of issues going on. And I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but I got to tell the truth, y'all. I cannot tell a lie on this particular thing because I take wrestling too seriously. Some people, I take it way too seriously. But you know what? That's what happens when you love it and you care about it. The whole thing with the Vision, it wasn't supposed to be like this, but obviously things happened and dominoes fell. So as far as I'm concerned, I can tell you that months ago, this was not part of the plan. But as far as starting off the show, I mean, I figured, you know what, you might as well just get it over with, right?
Well, here were my thoughts initially about this. That the only way you're going to get any buzz about this particular match is obviously Jay is going to get the crowd going, get the yeet party going.
Yeet.
And you may be able to retain some of that energy through the beginning of WrestleMania. That was my only positive take about this. Now, I'm going to give everybody the spoiler because that's just what I do. I spoil shit. That it came out to be that the Usos and LA Knight do go over I Show Speed, Theory, and Logan Paul. However, this is where I didn't think this match was going to have very much quality. You have a gentleman in I Show Speed. Granted, yes, he is physically jacked. You get to see this at the beginning on their entrance of how jacked I Show Speed really is. However, he's only wrestled one match prior. He lasted 58 seconds in that match, and that just so happened to be the Royal Rumble last year. And then you got basically 5 other, I'll use this term loosely, experienced veterans. Logan Paul at one point was 5-0 at WrestleMania. Austin Theory beat John Cena at WrestleMania. That kind of gives him a lot of big match experience. And then you have I Show Speed, who only wrestled in the Royal Rumble. At the end of the match, Theory and Paul both turn on I Show Speed, and the faces come to the rescue. I Show Speed does an extremely large splash, not off the turnbuckle, but off the turnbuckle post, onto Logan Paul through the announcer's table. By the way, rest in peace, announcer's table. And I'm not talking about the international announcer's table. I'm talking about the main PLE table. More to be announced about that part. I Show Speed gets a really good pop at the end, only because the Yeet Party starts again with him being in it. Even LA Knight kind of contributes a little bit to it. So, as terrible as the match really is, there is some air in the room by the time the match finishes.
Who was pinned in this one?
It just so happens that I believe it was Austin Theory that no, I'm sorry, Logan Paul got pinned.
Wow. Wow.
But it also, to me, says, and this might be a little bit of a follow-up, there may be a little bit of dissension building in division. It's time to be it's to be determined on that. But if you had Ice Speed tagging with division, yeah, there might be a little something going on there. Again, to be determined.
To be determined indeed.
This next match, this is where I have a very, very large issue.
Yeah, you've said as much because we've talked about this in previous conversations. And you actually asked, Alex, if there would be a moment where you would appear on the show to talk about what's going on. And I said that you will in good time. And the time has finally come.
So this was match 2 on the free viewing of ESPN. Free
And I have
night
a question
1
right
for
off the
1
bat.
hour. Alex, you obviously have been seeing this feud go on. Throw in a little bit of background about this lovely feud that we're seeing on our screen right now.
Well, this feud started. Didn't Jacob Fatu provide an assist when Drew McIntyre became champion again?
Yes, he did.
Hmm. And when Drew McIntyre lost the title, correct me if I'm wrong, was Jacob Fatu involved in it?
Yes, he was.
So that's already kind of telling you something, huh? So basically, it tells you that Jacob Fatu is not really on anybody's side. He's trying to get in the head of somebody, and obviously that's Drew McIntyre. Because I mentioned already that there's a question, and I'm sorry I interrupted. But who was the babyface in this one?
Jacob Fatu.
Really? You see, because that's what confused me about this is because I didn't understand who is the babyface.
So my thought is that until a lot of things get leveled out, Jacob Fatu is going to be the ping pong ball of base and heel.
Like Big Show.
Yes, like Big Show. Well, that's a perfect example of I'm going to be a base 1 week where I could be a heel the next week and still make everything entirely work.
But to answer your question, my thoughts on this match. Well, the storyline built in a certain way, but again, it caused a little bit of confusion because I'm not the only one who wondered who was the babyface in this one. So, as far as I know, I feel like these are just two more talents that WWE Creative could not afford to not be part of the show.
Well, as you will see on the screen, and I will announce to the listeners, okay? Mr. Bearman, could you kindly do me a favor and read what that yellow print on the bottom of the screen says?
Yes, sir, with absolute pleasure. All right, an unsanctioned match.
Now, a little bit of back history on unsanctioned matches, okay? Name some elements that you normally would see in a, quote, unsanctioned match.
Well, things that I would see or things that I would kind of expect.
Both.
Well, unsanctioned match, I feel like that's a new term for, no disqualifications. Or maybe it's a quote PG version of hardcore. At least that's what I would expect. This match was no hardcore match, was it?
So, maybe just maybe the terminology of unsanctioned match has kind of changed over time. I'm a little confused because I see another product called AEW who have unsanctioned matches quite frequently. They're called lights out matches. And there are things that I currently see like, I don't know, tables, chairs, bags of miscellaneous items, Legos, thumbtacks, glass, other elements that you wouldn't really kind of expect. Maybe a kendo stick, a barbed wire bat, or some type of maniacal tool entering the fold in the match, and all these other elements get used. And there's one other particular thing that I normally would see in an unsanctioned match, which I saw in other matches, but I did not see in this match tonight. The red stuff. I did not see one element of a crimson mask at all throughout this entire match. So instead of it being technically, to me, an unsanctioned match, this was a glorified street fight.
Well, why not call it that?
My only deduction of why there was no crimson mask is because technically it was on free TV. Which to me means you wanted faces to watch the 3 hour of WrestleMania 42 on night 1, but you don't bring me any real excitement. You don't bring me any real interest now, knowing this is going to happen. Not at all. So immediately right now, I am turned off by this match by the time the end of the match is over. I'm legitimately turned off.
And you're not the only one, buddy.
If I see unsanctioned, I want to see a little bit of gore.
Yeah.
I want to see the red mask. I want to see things that I will not see on Monday Night Raw, not on SmackDown, not on NXT. If you can see that on Dynamite or Collision, why couldn't WWE pull the trigger on that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. And I'm glad you mentioned the 2 words street fight, because let's be honest, what you just described, everything, you can't call that no holds barred. I mean, no holds barred does not live to a level of a street fight. There is a difference, okay? Yes, there is a difference between a no holds barred match and a street fight. But if you've watched wrestling long enough, then it's easy to understand.
You legit just changed the terminology for me of what unsanctioned really means. If that's what you're going to label this match as.
But the words, I'm sorry, but unsanctioned match is bland. I mean, come on, this is not creative. I mean, come on, an unsanctioned match. Come on, that's boring. I mean, don't call it, just call it a street fight.
If you can take on national TV, I know, mind you, I know there's a 3 to 6 second delay from TV to live, okay? If you're going to bust somebody open, just frickin' turn it black and white like you do all the time on other programs.
Right.
If you seriously want to make this like an actual interesting match, this is not going to do it for me.
Amen to that, brother.
And it's sad to say that, yes, my pick won. I did pick Fatu. Only for the fact being is I know Mr. Drew McIntyre is going to be taking a nice little siesta from WWE because he is currently in one of the major roles of the new Highlander film. So if you don't see Drew McIntyre for a while, know that he is overseas. He is the brother of the main star in the movie, and he's going to be disappearing for a little while. But it's kind of, in a way, it's an okay way to write Drew off for now. But to me, this does put a black cloud on this match. It really tremendously does.
I agree, but I do have a question.
Sure.
When Drew McIntyre comes back, does he come back as a face or still a heel?
In all assumptions, will say he's going to come back as a heel. I don't see this rivalry finished.
Right. Because it can't end like this.
I feel like there are chapters of this. If they did this with him and CM Punk, that was 3 matches. Okay? Granted, yeah. One was Hell in a Cell. I could see something like this happening. SummerSlam. Probably the perfect opportunity. I'm not going to see it at, like, any of the other lower-end pay-per-views. Like, I think this has got to be, like, I'm sorry, PLEs. My bad. You know, when you've been watching wrestling for so long, you're stuck with one term.
No, you're qualified and justified to use that word. I mean, just because wrestling evolves and changes, it doesn't mean that we have to accept it that much. We can still use those authentic, nostalgic, and legendary terminology. We are justified. That's for sure.
But I still say that
Excuse me.
This feud is not over. It's not over by a
No,
long shot.
not by him. No.
Okay. So
It's
now
just
we're done.
it's gonna hit the pause button for now. That's all we can say.
Now we're done with the free first hour of WWE, and I'm going to tell you right now, knowing the fact that ESPN is $30 a month, I did not pay $30 to watch this. I'm sorry. I did not pay $30 for it. I got myself a VPN for 1/10 of the price, and I watched it on Netflix. Okay? For all you people out there saying, oh, you're a cheap bastard, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not spending $30 to watch one program a month. It makes absolutely zero sense.
Amen. I mean, that's why I don't do those large TV packages, because I'm not willing to spend $100 just to watch a couple of channels. Okay, it just does not make sense.
So we move on from our free hour. I move over to my Netflix. Here is the first rant of the show. Okay, now, people, you really got to bear with me on this. No pun intended. So there is a very big yellow picture on my screen, and it is promoting the April 22nd debut of the Real American Hulk Hogan documentary. On Netflix, by the way. Only on Netflix. And at one point while watching said PLE, I thought somehow Netflix cut WrestleMania 42 off, because there was these 7 to 10 minute clips from the documentary that aired during WrestleMania. Now, you're showing me things. Obviously, I have lived through the Hogan era. From start to finish, I have lived through the Hogan era. I don't want to see really long, prolonged promos of a show that's probably going to last me an hour and a half.
Right.
And you showed 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 previews of this documentary. Now, being the fact that I am very techish, I thought legitimately Netflix screwed me up. So I had to go and check other methods to make sure that I was still watching WrestleMania 42.
Right.
I understand it's WWE / WWF / WWE. Because that's where Hogan was. Amongst other little notarized areas where he was wrestling, okay?
WCW.
I do not need to see 4 of these. I know you have 4 hours to fill. But I don't need 4 7 to 10 minute segments of that. Like, I don't. I'm sorry. It really fucking annoys me that was what you chose to fill space on a PLE. I'm sorry. Like, that doesn't work for me. Alex, maybe your thoughts on this might be different, but I'm sorry. That was a waste of my time.
Well, I have been asked if I have intentions of watching this Netflix, and yeah, I do. Now, I have to mention, and I talked to you about this, Ricky, that when Hogan passed away last year, and when I did an episode when I aim to be a bit more positive about Hogan than negative because of all the negativity about Hogan, you know, it was difficult. It was a very difficult episode to do, and I really honestly almost didn't bother because the backlash was people were just going to be so negative. Look, I get it, okay, but yeah, I still want to watch this documentary because you never know, you'll learn something. I have the same itch to watch this documentary as I did when the Vince McMahon documentary came out, and we did do an episode on that one, didn't we, sir?
Yes, we did.
You see, when you're a pro wrestling fan like Ricky and I, you're far more you're invested in more than just the shows and everything and the video games. I mean, you're invested in pro wrestling overall, especially when it comes to learning through documentaries. So, but yeah, I mean, they have to advertise it. Okay, they can do it more than once, but you said they did it 4 times?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, if you do it, okay, I would say you do it twice, okay, but you see, this is where I'm dumbfounded. I don't even know what to say. And I hope I'm answering your question. And let me know if I have not. But yeah, it comes out April 22nd. That's in a couple of days. And it's good that WWE is still acknowledging Hogan. And despite everything from Hogan, look, again, people. I still tell people you have to admit he's the reason why. Okay, he's one of the reasons why. See, that's what bothers when people say he's the reason. Like he's the only guy that made you a wrestling fan. I mean, that's when people are like, no, it wasn't just Hogan. Hogan was a huge part of it, but not the only one. But yeah, Hogan is a huge part of what wrestling is today. So whether you like the guy or not, okay, yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but you
Well,
bring up
I've been
you
rambling,
bring
so I think
you bring up
you're doing something good.
no you bring up the fact of like I don't want I'm gonna probably say it my way, okay? You're telling me that you're gonna ride this guy's dong because he made wrestling. I'm sorry. He might have been a contributor to making wrestling big. But you got to remember of other guys that were in the business at the time that were also on the same run to start.
So you're vindicating me. So basically, you're saying that I'm absolutely right.
He wasn't the only one.
Yeah. So basically,
I'm going to bring up names that might, it might scare people a little bit.
But before you do, you confirm that I'm vindicated, that I'm right. Hogan was a huge part of it, but not the only part of it.
He wasn't the only contributor.
Yeah.
He was, okay, if you had like that graph of the slice of pie, right? You got to say maybe, I'd say, rough estimate, 45 to 51%.
Fair enough.
Okay? 45 to 51% in that ballpark. But you also had guys, and I'm going to mention quite a few now, so people don't fall over when you hear these names, all right? Big John Studd, Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
You had characters like the Junkyard Dog. You had Jimmy Snuka back in the day. Oh, what about probably one of the best shows WWF ever put out? Piper's Pit.
Roddy Piper.
You had Roddy Piper. Brutus the Barber Beefcake in the barber shop.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
If you really want to throw in a little bit more included, a little bit further down the line, some Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Like, you had these characters. Some of them were very flamboyant.
King Kong Bundy.
Especially King Kong Bundy and Junkyard Dog. Okay?
Yeah.
These were not your everyday Joes that just showed up in a pair of black tights, wrestling tights, or white tights, or yellow tights, or red tights, or long tight. Like, these were just not your ordinary characters. These were original characters. Yes, the Iron Sheik. Bob Backlund, if you really want to kind of row the boat back that far.
Nikolai Volkov.
Do you see the list that we've just said? These were all iconic guys. Whether they had a write-up or they had a run with Hogan, These were guys that were still the supporting cast at WWF/WWE. So don't go pulling on the total yang of Hogan being the big one.
And you know what's sad, Ricky? A lot of the names that we mentioned, they too are no longer with us.
But you know what? They're all hanging out, having a brew somewhere up there, because they're all sitting there reminiscing about all of the great times, whether it was, in the locker room or on the road, or stories that, like, mishaps in the ring and things like that. They're all up there freaking hamming it up. Rest in peace to all of them. But I definitely did not need Hogan legit, like, shoved up my ass 4 times for 28 minutes during the PLE. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I do look forward to watching this documentary, because you know what? It's about the opportunity to learn. You see, that Vince McMahon documentary, a lot of people expected to hear the same thing, but you know what? A lot of people all over social media said, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Like, a lot of people did not know that Vince McMahon, his first gig in wrestling was an announcer. That his dad sent him to the sent him to the announcers table.
But you also got to remember, a lot of people just got massive refreshers of all of the news and notes that people got to see in the freaking national media.
Right.
Didn't really paint a great picture. So I'm not expecting this one to be painting a lot of a great picture either.
I mean, I don't be surprised if in this one they bring back, in the 80s, then how Hogan ruined a union in pro wrestling. I mean, of course they're going to mention that.
All right, now moving back to the action. This technically was the first match that started off the non-free period on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened to be the women's fatal 4-way, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Jax and Legend, Bayley and Valkyria, and supposedly the Bella Twins. Now, me initially, I'm sitting there hoping and praying that the doctors actually did clear Nikki Bella, because then in my brain, the titles weren't changing. I really, really think, as much as Nia Jax is still kind of hated by her sister-in the locker room, because she's a little tough, not gonna lie. Lash Legend still needs a lot more experience, but her running with the title does help. Sure. And I would have loved to have seen other storylines really, truly come out of this.
I agree.
A heel turn would have been nice by at least either Charlotte or Alexa Bliss. That would have been awesome. Bayley and Lyra turning heel. That would have been nice. But we didn't get that.
Nope.
We did not get that.
No, we did not.
In the early hours of the morning on April 18th, 2026, news hit the sheets like no business. Somebody re-signs with WWE. Mr. Bearman, would you like to announce who that was?
Yeah, let's proudly welcome back home Paige. Although, to be honest with you, I'm going to have a hard time calling her Paige, because you know who she really is to me?
Who?
Saraya.
That was her, mind you, that was her original name.
Well, that is her, that actually is her name. I think that's her birth name.
But it also was her ring name before she got to WWE.
Yeah, it was.
AEW.
Right.
But apparently the deal is not a short-term deal. It is a long-term deal, terms undisclosed. But apparently Paige will be back for the long run. Not a short one, a long one. Which, there were rumors that AJ Lee wanted Paige back in WWE. She got her wish, obviously. because taking Nikki Bella's spot is Paige wrestling with Brie in this fatal 4-way. The only thing I could really say about this match, because I'm not going to really dive into it too much, car wreck. Absolute car wreck. This match really does not put over the Divas division or the women's division at all.
Yeah. I don't even call it a Divas division. I mean, that's an insult. A Divas division? No. It's the women's division.
It's now the, but you know what? Again, old habits die
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this though, okay? As much as you brought Paige back, huge pop. Huge damn pop in the arena. They have Brie and Paige win the titles. A little interference from Nikki with the crutch on the outside as she's running around with this big ass plastic boot on her foot. But I'm not a fan of the outcome. I really wish, again, Nia and Lash would have come out of this unscathed. But it was the first title change on the PLE. And Paige still getting the pop at the end, I guess, was their call. You know, like the same way they had the pop in the 6-man match. I guess they just wanted the pop from Paige, keep the crowd kind of interested in it, and run from there.
Right. It might have been a bit of an act of desperation by WWE Creative. But speaking of Paige, I saw that she's actually the first women's wrestler to win a title at AEW All In as well as WrestleMania.
You know what? As many times have we seen champions in the women's division, right? She's now a tag team champion. I believe she was a tag team champion once before. Don't quote me on that.
She managed the tag team champions.
Yeah,
this is when,
the Kabuki
the Kabuki. Yeah, she was not able to wrestle at the time because of that unfortunate neck injury.
But see, now you're putting a title on somebody. The question I have is, what is the longevity of this title run? Is this something that if they're running around on Raw, that disappears after maybe Monday night? Is this something that lasts 3 weeks? Does it last till the next PLE? Does it last till SummerSlam? Like, what is the real deal with what Nikki, Brie have on their contracts for now? Are they going to be like an every week visual on our screens? Are they going to be like an every other week? Like, where is that going to sit? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I don't know what to expect, but obviously a lot of people are not happy about. I'm not going to get into that because again, I want to stay positive. I agree. I am worrying about the longevity of this. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this probably lasts. I would say this is probably going to last between a month or 2. I wouldn't be surprised if this went up to 90 days. But you know something interesting? 11 years ago, the Bella Twins actually took on Paige in a tag team match with AJ Lee. This was back at WrestleMania 31. So there's that history. And of course, you mentioned the history between AJ Lee and Paige. I mean, the night after WrestleMania 30, I'll never forget that. So if they brought Paige back for the longevity, as you said, and if AJ Lee had something to do with it, then clearly there's a couple of storylines that are coming to mind based on the past. But based on how the match ended, that means that obviously the Bella Twins turned heel, right?
I don't know if they're heels or not. They still get crowd pop. And I think now with Paige, I think they're going to get a little bit more crowd pop.
Right. So I don't know how long Nikki's out. So I don't know how long this lasts. I mean, to be honest, I actually had a feeling that Lyra and Bayley would win, but I'm like, I'm not too sure. But because then I had second thoughts, but I felt that it was probably wise to have Nia and Lash. Hope I got her name right. I thought it would be better if they retained.
Again, that was my opinion with it. Obviously didn't go that way because then obviously the non-clearance for Nikki kind of messed that whole shit up. But I mean, I guess you know what? I think maybe even WWE could have wrote it in saying that she wasn't medically cleared, even though she technically was medically cleared. And that's a way to bring Paige back in, especially if Paige re-signing is a last-minute deal. You want to put it over, you run with that.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have, I believe, 4 more segments. And we're going to go with this one here because I don't exactly remember what the actual lineup of the card was. I really don't care personally, but we're covering the matches anyway. So it ended up being this one here. It ended up being AJ Lee defending her women's championship. You know, the Raw Women's Championship. Oh, no, Intercontinental. My bad. My bad. My apologies. It's been a long fucking day. So, AJ Lee defending against Becky Lynch. This was quite an interesting match, by the way. I love the fact that WrestleMania stood up to its standards with presentation. Okay? Becky Lynch was sung into her match by the band that does her entrance theme, which I thought is phenomenal. Like, they cut them off at the end, but she got sung in. AJ came out with a bunch of girls dressed up as AJ.
You know, yeah, I saw that.
Like, I thought that was really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that was cool. That was
I
cool.
thought it was a very cool presentation. I didn't jump on it or anything, but I thought it was interesting. Being that it's WrestleMania, you think you might get a little bit something different, but not.
I mean, they did that with John Cena one time, but there were a lot of those. You remember that? What was it? Well, which WrestleMania was that?
Listen, we've seen John Cena through so many WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, it was 25.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania 25.
This match here, though, I thought was very short. I thought this match could go a little bit longer. Like, I don't think this match went anything longer than maybe 13 minutes. And to me, 13 minutes is kind of a shorty. All right? It's AJ Lee. It's Becky Lynch. Names of the industry. Top women in the industry. You know what? Like, this match was way too short. It really was. And it ended up being that Jessica Carr was the referee in the match again. Like, we don't have any other female referees in the WWE. We only have Jessica Carr. And she got involved in this, but Becky wins. The second title change, night 1, at WrestleMania 42. And it wasn't clean either. Let's also make that known. Spoiler alert, she uses an exposed turnbuckle. Okay? So, the maniacal part of Becky Lynch cheating. And I'll use the Eddie Guerrero line, extremely loose on this one. You're not cheating. You're not trying. Becky Lynch cheated. She tried. And is now a 3-time Women's Intercontinental Champion. Your outlook on that, Bearman, because you look a little perplexed on Becky Lynch winning the IC title again.
Yeah, I do, but I shouldn't be surprised. Well, this tells me, I mean, some people are starting to have a feeling if AJ Lee loses her title, and people are going to think that CM Punk is going to lose his.
I understand. You walk into this PLE and there is not a lot of fire in it. I think there's barely a flame walking into this PLE. And 2 title changes? I was yelling with my nephew earlier at some kids in the neighborhood, right? Oh, WrestleMania 42 is such a great card. I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Because I'm going to be honest with you. If you're going to have title changes, right? Why can WrestleMania not be like another pay-per-view that they have, a PLE? Night of Champions. There's no reason for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships to be a highlight match on SmackDown the day before WrestleMania. Another match that should have been on the WrestleMania card, which is total BS. Why is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal not on WrestleMania? Now, let's be honest. Let's play a little bit of roulette on this. And I leave the answer to you, okay? In one hand, you have the Usos and LA Knight versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISHO Speed, right? That's one match, okay? Put that together. And then in the other hand, you have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Which one rightfully should be in WrestleMania?
Both, to be honest.
But here is my kicker to this, okay? And this is why it should be different, okay? How many six-man tags have you seen on Raw and SmackDown for like the last 2 months? Even tag team matches.
I'm just not paying too much attention, so I don't know, honestly.
Okay? A six-man tag like that is a TV show match.
Right.
Granted, yes, the talent in the match should be shown on the PLE. How often do you have an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Once a year.
And in which season in PLE do you normally have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
WrestleMania.
Exactly. That should be a showcase. If you want to get your talent seen, for example, obviously, Royce Keys wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Right?
Right.
His highlight for winning that's going to be on SmackDown. If you want to push a guy that you just signed, you don't have that happen on SmackDown.
Right.
You have it on a international level. Okay? Now, we should be showcasing champions on WrestleMania. Granted, it's not the greatest tag team in the world, but it's a big pop. Truth and Damian Priest should have not defended their titles on SmackDown. Should have been on the PLE.
I agree.
That's where I'm saying the whole deal. Okay? And now you have a second title change hands. Come on. Seriously? This is what you think about? I don't know. All right. Next segment. This is all your segment. I'm leaving this to you. This is where your true dedication goes. This year, the WWE Hall of Fame 2026 had some very interesting inductees. Mr. Bearman, would you like to announce this year's Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Well, the headliner, as we know, the $1 billion princess, as we knew her in the Attitude Era, Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, Demolition, Axe and Smash, Dennis Rodman as part of the celebrity wing, and as part of the legacy wing, Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown. And there's definitely something that we got to talk about. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things about this, but the way Sid Vicious was inducted, I mean, his son actually apparently is not happy about it. And his son actually mentioned he's not happy about several things, I think.
It's something that should have happened a while ago. And I'll be honest with you. Okay? When you're inducted into the Hall of Fame, okay? Granted, your life might have ended prematurely. Okay? We'll leave it at the prematurely part. Okay? Regardless of what effects there were that happened to your demise. You probably want to go in alive. You don't want to have your family members doing that. That's for one. And two, with the list of people that you have Hall of Fame bound, right? You probably should have done it earlier. Or a little bit closer to where, like, it means a little bit significantly more. And if you go in on the legacy side, that kind of diminishes it a little bit. Because then you hear, oh, well, Demolition made it in on the regular part, but Sid Vicious said / Sid Justice makes it in on the legacy part.
Right.
There's a little bit of a difference then on those spots. There is.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
So I could probably understand all rights that his son is pissed. Because people were calling out for certain names for years. It almost kind of feels like WWE was peer pressured to put them in. I kind of can understand that, but also at the end of the day, using a Hogan term, because he used that shit 800 times, he's in. So I would technically think he should be kind of happy about that, but it's the same right. Legacy versus regular induction. Maybe the rules need to be changed just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like 3 inches a little bit. That's where I think at it.
Right.
Like Demolition probably should have been in a lot earlier. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really consider Bad News Brown Hall of Fame material. Could they have not picked somebody else?
And I have some insight.
Give me some names of like who would be probably better than Bad News Brown to go into the WWE Hall of Fame.
I mean, there's a lot, but I do have a little bit of insight about Psycho Sid's son, Gunner Yudi, claiming the whole thing was, quote, disrespectful as hell. I mean, the whole thing is a bit complicated, but well, okay, so apparently, as we know, Yudi's family did not give a speech at the event, but they were shown in the crowd. And Yudi's son, Gunner, took to social media on Saturday to speak about the disrespect he believed was shown to his father. So he starts off by, he put a post. He started off by saying thank you to everybody, but he felt the whole thing was, quote, straight up disappointing and disrespectful as hell. I'm glad my dad was big enough to put himself over even in death because WWE damn sure wouldn't. And he mentions that he didn't see a single advertisement for his dad and his Hall of Fame induction anywhere. There was no advertising for the Hall of Fame induction in Vegas, and mentioned that the gift shop for the event didn't even feature merchandise for his dad, despite being, quote, loaded with all the Dennis Rodman crap, unquote.
I don't know if at some points I find that surprising, but also at the same right, if that person really didn't, I can't rewind my brain about Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, merch.
Psycho Sid.
I don't remember a lot of that merchandise being sold. In fact, I really don't think he had any, to be honest. I don't think he had any real merch. I think maybe Survivor Series he might have had some merch. When he wrestled Shawn Michaels, maybe there was merch. I don't remember. I can be honest with you. I don't remember merch from there.
I mean, I wasn't a wrestling fan at the time, so But I watched a lot of what Psycho Sid did. I mean, that match with Shawn Michaels, the rivalry with The Undertaker. There's obviously one moment in the career that I'm actually scared to look at, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. That gruesome leg injury. Oh my god.
Yeah, that will definitely sit in the crutch of a lot of wrestling
I
fans all
mean,
over the world.
he made Psycho Sid made an appearance about 14 years ago. Remember when Heath Slater had that run where he was losing to all these legends?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Psycho Sid was brought in, and I feel bad for Psycho Sid personally because I would have been excited to see him back, but the match. I mean, I'm not saying okay, the match wasn't bad. I mean, he squashed Heath Slater. That wasn't the problem, but Psycho Sid, and this is where my heart aches for him and his family because when Psycho Sid came out, did he have a pop when he came out on Monday Night
Yes, he
Raw
did.
back in 2012?
Yes, he
He
did.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, well then good. I'm glad you mentioned because look, Psycho Sid earned his respect. He deserves it. Okay. And you know what? To be honest, to me, Psycho Sid is more than a legend. Okay, I mean, he earned his respect, and you know what? He's a big name in wrestling. I don't care what anybody says. Okay,
I will say though, when they did bring out the inductees, it was a quick wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like there really wasn't like a really long segment for the Hall of Fame inductees. I don't know, maybe because they're trying to end the PLE earlier. I have no idea. I probably would have spent a little bit more time on it, but it was like a very quick segment. And then it ended up going to this. Seth Rollins back in the ring, going against the Ring General. You know,
well,
the career killer, Gunther. And
well, before
man, let me tell you, I I expected this something totally different.
right, but before we get into that, there's one more thing I need to ask about Psycho Sid, or something
Sure.
I gotta state. Okay, as part of the legacy win, like so there was nobody that inducted him. Like it was just like an award given to his family. Was that it?
Well, if they did it with Legacy, they're really not going to have a presentation.
I'm sorry,
That's
but
the way. That's the way I
that's
kind of
bullshit.
gather it.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. So you know what? I agree with Psycho's son, Gunner. Yeah, it was disrespectful. I don't know who. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of names who could have inducted him, but you know what? I'm sorry. Psycho Sid was disrespected.
Now,
You know what? Yeah, Psycho Sid was disrespected, and you know what? That's bullshit. Pardon my language. But you know what? I'm upset. I'm very upset. Yeah, it's bullshit. Psycho Sid and his family were disrespected, but Psycho Sid, most of all, he was absolutely disrespected. So shame on WWE for such a disrespectful move. Now I'm done.
I also have a really weird point of view that I just brought. I just
And
found.
I apologize personally to Psycho Sid's family and Gunner. If by some freak of luck you're listening to this, I've got your back, dude. I've got your back.
I will say though, was there a specific name that was supposed to be at WrestleMania this year?
I don't
Just
even.
curious. Was there supposed to be a specific name that was supposed to be at WrestleMania this year?
Was there? I mean,
Well,
it's nothing new when they bring in celebrities, right?
it's a weird point of view that I just saw. But if you look at the WWE graphics for WrestleMania Vegas, there's a really weird point that I need to bring up. When is there been a SmackDown hotel in Vegas? It is legit on the graphic. It is. I'm seeing this just now. It is right behind
Yeah,
Seth
I see it
Rollins
too.
on the graphic. Like, when did The Rock get involved, or was that because he's part of TKO, and they had to have something Rock initial in the graphic? I don't fucking get this, but anyway.
Well, the final boss can probably show up at a certain match, but we'll
What?
see.
I don't even know if
Yeah,
he's on tomorrow's graphics, but
yeah.
anyway.
And I have to apologize to you, Ricky, and everybody if I went off a little bit because again I feel that yeah, Psycho Sid deserved better.
First off,
So
don't you damn apologize. This is
I mean,
ringside chaos.
yeah, but
This
still, I
is
mean,
where we bring the
yeah,
reality to the fans
yeah,
about our freaking sports
yeah.
entertainment or our
So the only
professional
apology
wrestling.
is to Psycho Sid's family, and that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, yeah. So if Gunner and the family's listening, I've got y'all's back, and I'm sorry that this happened to y'all. I'm sorry.
All right, back on track. 3 matches to go. Seth Rollins, Gunther. This match started before the bell even rang. Like, these guys were going at it before the bell even rang. And then finally, I don't know what possessed the referee to say, hey, you know what? Let's finally ring the bell and get this thing going. Okay? We did have another return during this match. Mr. Bearman announced who the return was.
Braun Breaker.
Homeboy looks jacked. I mean, he looked jacked before. He looks jacked more.
I mean, his uncle, Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, had something to say about it.
I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping there was no ROIDS going on. That would be shameful if it was. But Braun Breaker looked freaking jacked. And they basically, or whether it was Breaker outside of the ring or Gunther inside of the ring, they put Seth Rollins to sleep. So Gunther wins this match. God knows what this favor that he's going to ask of Paul Heyman's going to be. But Gunther wins, disappears, and Braun Breaker performs the worst ever spear known to man. My God, if that is your finishing move, don't miss it. He decides to run from the top of the WrestleMania ramp all the way down the ramp, full speed, and attempt to spear Seth Rollins. And for some reason, the move totally gets botched. Not exactly your greatest WrestleMania highlight moment. Unlike some other moments where people absolutely miss the ring and slide underneath. This one is up there, though. And at the end of the segment for this match, appears Paul Heyman, which surprisingly enough, was not out with Theory and Logan Paul in the beginning. Did not come out with Gunther for this match. And just penguins his ass out onto the ramp to meet Braun Breaker after it's all said and done. No, I could go into highlights, but really, you got to see how bad the Braun Breaker spear is. And if it somehow makes ESPN's not top 10, would be a miracle. I'm telling you right now. Like, I've seen the spear thrown, okay? Batista throws a great spear. Goldberg, great spear. Braun Breaker, Edge throwing a spear. This spear, not good. Not good at all.
And Roman Reigns.
Like, yeah, there's a whole list of people we could.
Bobby Lashley had a good one in his early in his first run.
Even Moose now has a very good spear, but try to throw that spear from tonight into the analogs of history. That thing gets thrown into a paper shredder.
I mean, we forgot about Rhino, the Gore.
Yes, the Gore.
Yeah, he calls it the Gore, and it's better than the spear.
Now, we're going to move on from this match to this one. And I'm going to tell you, this really did not have the hype going into it the way that I thought it would. Liv Morgan does come out to her new music video, Trouble. Thought that was a nice, lovely, unique change. But I'm going to tell you, I really thought this match had a lot more potential than it showed. Another short program where I think WWE was kind of getting a little timid on how much the time length was running. Because this was another match that didn't last more than, I'm going to estimate, about 15 minutes. I'll be honest. I really thought this one here should have been a lot better than what it was. And if you'd like to beat everybody in on the lead into it, go right ahead.
Well, I mean, you talk about how long the match was. I actually have exactly how long the match was.
How long was it? Because it did not feel like it was that long.
You want to take a guess?
I say under 15.
It was 9 minutes. At least that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing here. So yeah, from what I'm seeing, it was 9 minutes. So
And
you said under 15. It was under 10.
yeah, and that like there were matches on this card that, no joke, had legit more potential to show than what they did. This match here on the East Coast finished with like 8 minutes to 9 to go. It was like 8:52 when it finished. And I'm gonna say personally right now, Liv Morgan, as many people are not really a huge fan of her, she is a very talented performer.
No doubt about it.
She won the greatest Royal Rumble in the women's side in Saudi last year. She won the regular Royal Rumble this year. We give Liv Morgan 9 minutes of camera time.
Right? That's insulting. It's absolutely insulting.
You get one of the fastest rising WWE superstars in the women's division, who legit blew through NXT, gets to the main roster. You put a title on her. She's only worth 9 minutes of camera time.
How dare they?
How could they not jump on the other opportunities? Because I'll spoil more. That there was interference from Roxanne Perez. And I, for some reason, can't remember her name right now.
Raquel Rodriguez.
Raquel Rodriguez. That you can't give Liv Morgan the same attention that you gave to her in both Royal Rumbles. I'm sorry. I don't know who was the one that wrote this match out. I don't know what process in their brain they were having. Obviously, Liv Morgan now third title change in WrestleMania for the weekend. I'm sorry. This is bad juju. It is bad. This is bad juju to an already 14 match card that we've got going on, that like it's this horrible. We give a women's title match only 9 minutes.
That's insulting.
Yet we want, or the fans want, women to start main eventing PLEs more. This is what we get. No. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me.
Do better, WWE. Do better. And again, and I notice I said it's insulting because, as you mentioned, how, Liv Morgan, she arrived in WWE, what was she, like 20, 21?
20.
She paid her dues in NXT, worked her way up in NXT, made her debut as part of the Riot Squad. I mean, she has literally done everything. And to say that she paid her dues, did everything that she was told, is a massive, and I mean a massive, understatement. What I'm trying to say is, Liv Morgan has earned her respect, so WWE needs to give it to her. And I mean now.
And I think adding the outside interference just diminishes her role in this entire thing.
Dude, you know what? I was actually about to say that, so I'm glad you beat me to the punch. I think Liv Morgan, I almost said Alex Morgan, Liv Morgan, I think it would have been better if she had actually won on her own. It would have made her look better. And you know what? And yeah, I see. I don't want to go on another angry rant.
Well, I am going to deviate before we go to the last match.
But I got to ask you, though, and I'm serious when I ask, do you think that Liv Morgan was disrespected?
I honestly think that, again, like, if you built her up so much, And then you teased. This is another crazy thing about it. Before I really want to kind of like advance it because we're over the hour already. I'm gonna say this. You teased Liv trying to kick a member out of the Judgment Day. You teased her trying to kick Roxanne out of Judgment Day. Obviously, that ends up getting foiled because Stephanie attacks Liv. You have Liv stab Raquel in the back how many times before WrestleMania? And you can't pull the trigger on that? Let's do some math here, okay? How many members of the Judgment Day are there right now?
4?
5.
No, 5. Yeah, because okay, Dirty Dom.
Okay.
You know what's funny?
Dom,
okay, so
JD, Raquel.
oh right, I forgot about
Roxanne,
JD.
Liv.
I forgot about JD.
Now you're looking at a stable that once had Rhea in it, Damian in it, Finn Balor in it, Edge.
Rhea Ripley.
I said Rhea already.
Oh yeah,
I kind of mentioned. Okay.
Mommy.
Now the stable is technically uneven with performers that you're not going to push the way you're supposed to.
Well, did we mention the first leader, Edge?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Copeland.
But here's my point. Understand Dom is in AAA. He's big there, okay? He's not even a heel there. He's a face there, okay? JD is not really going to amount to anything because you know he's not winning the ladder match tomorrow night. You know this already. So, what are you really now doing with Judgment Day? The knowing the fact that you got one guy who's big in another company, one guy you're not going to technically use at all, and 3 women that you're not going to push using all of their full talent. That drops a bomb. I'm sorry. That drops a legitimate pipe bomb on that freaking faction right now. Because there was so many ways that whole Liv Stephanie match could have gone that you legit dropped the ball on. That would have made WrestleMania Night 1 a lot more interesting.
Well, they messed up again.
All right.
I mean, at this point, credibility is becoming severely damaged. And now I'm at a point where I'm asking, does WWE really care?
I think this will be for another episode, but I think the backstage people at WWE are either needing a change or they need to make a rotation of change and they need to stop letting TKO stick their nose where it don't belong.
Right. And you know what my friend keeps saying?
What?
Bring back Vince McMahon. That's what he keeps saying.
That is not the solution. But again,
that is
for
not
another
the solution.
episode, I have answers for that.
No, Vince needs to stay retired and enjoy life.
Okay. So, right before main event time, it is just turning 9 p.m. Eastern Standard here in New York, and the main event has still not touched the screen. However, we get another visit from show host John Cena, who announces the attendance. And you might want to look this one up really, really quick. This year's Night 1 attendance was 50,518.
Really? I'm seeing a different result.
My recollection from last year, I believe WrestleMania Night 1 had a bigger crowd than this year. If my memory serves me correct, I believe WrestleMania Night 1's attendance was a lot more than 50,518.
Well, I'm getting a different number for Night 1, but we don't have to argue that if you don't want to.
Which number do you have?
Well, I'm seeing 50,816, and apparently the total attendance for I don't know if it's true. I mean, it's saying that nearly 90 tickets have been sold.
90?
Which marks it. 90,000 tickets were sold, and it marks a decrease compared to last year.
Well, from my looking at it, it did look like the stadium was full.
I
But
mean,
then
how many years?
again, I mean, there are parts of the stadium that they didn't show,
Right. How many years did they say that WrestleMania 3, the attendance record was 93,000, and then
and it
a couple
wasn't.
years ago? Yeah. So I don't know if I can believe what they say, because for so many years they said WrestleMania 3 was 93,000 people, and it turned out that apparently that was not true. But they still say today, no, it was 93,000 people. So I don't know.
And then on other lengths, we get a return that was going to be probably the shortest 4-minute return in WWE history. Bianca Belair shows up.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you need somebody to better produce a PLE. Like yours truly. I think I probably would do a lot better job at producing a show like this.
Probably no. You definitely would.
Because they only brought her in, not to say that she was returning to in-ring action or going to be on camera or whatever. She only enters the ring to announce that she's pregnant.
I mean, honestly, not that there's anything wrong with that. In fact, congratulations to her. I'm so happy to hear that.
And the
But
outfit that she was wearing was showing the pregnant belly.
well,
But
hasn't she been dealing with a broken was it a broken wrist or something with a
she
broken hand?
she has been out well over a year with a broken finger that she thought through a lot of therapy and whatever would heal. Obviously it didn't. So she just had surgery on that finger again. Now, being a viewer and then being on the other side of the glass as doing the analytical parts of WWE, I did not need to see a pregnant woman on TV. I think in my 49 years, I've seen enough pregnant women. Secondly, don't tease the fans with bringing Bianca Belair out thinking, oh shit, her finger's healed, the therapy is done, she started training again, and we're getting her back, and we only get the announcement she's going to be gone for about another year and a half. Don't tease people like that.
That's bad business.
That's like teasing the horse with the carrot on the stick. Okay, don't do that shit.
Yeah, that's not
It's
cool.
fucking pointless. Don't do that. That you could do other fucking things. Like maybe run promo more about trying to advertise for night 2. Or they did make a small announcement, a 3-minute announcement about WrestleMania 43 overseas in Saudi Arabia. No date plan, no nothing. They made the announcement. Beat me with some more of that garbage. Don't tease me with Bianca Belair. Because you just ripped the heart out of God knows how many fans of Bianca Belair. Oh, she's back. Oh, wait, no, she's only here for like 4 minutes, and then she's gone again for like another 16 months. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah,
It,
that was bad
it,
business.
it, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it was bad business. But nevertheless, congratulations to her. I'm so happy.
Main event time. And again, that fucking
Hmm.
stupid SmackDown hotel shit in the back is fucking pissing me off.
People, you know what people have been asking me leading up to this?
What?
Alex, are you still mad that they didn't turn Cody Rhodes heel? Okay, I was never mad. First of all, I was never mad. I was just kind of like, well, everybody knows. I mean, okay. But then people have brought up a point that I didn't mention. The problem is there's no over-the-top babyface that could take over as a top babyface of the company. Like, yeah, you're right, because you know what? They should have done that with LA Knight, and they should have been grooming it for many months, but they didn't. So,
So my thing with this is, and I've been a tiny bit vocal about it. You cannot turn somebody heel with all of the stuff that they do. Like, it was weird to see Solo in a DoorDash commercial. He's playing a heel, and he's in a fucking DoorDash commercial. By the way, that aired on ESPN, not on WrestleMania, the main part. They put him on the commercial part on TV. Probably smart that I wouldn't be screaming that Solo Sikoa is in a fucking commercial. But he's selling liquor. Can't do that with a heel persona. I'm sorry. You can't do that with him running the podcast that he's running. And he's kind of taken up in the John Cena role of doing like all the Make-A-Wish things and everything else. Like, turning him heel would be a bad look if you have him out in the public so much. If he's doing a lot of public appearances on TV shows, especially before events like WrestleMania, you really can't turn him heel. You don't have the proper spot to really be able to do that.
Right. But nonetheless, I was hoping it would happen. It would happen this night. I mean, the way I envisioned it, Cody Rhodes wins by delivering a low blow, and then at the end, I'll never forget when I said it. And the best way to end it, the best way to the best way to like that is that if Cody Rhodes delivered a punt to Randy Orton's head, that would have been something that would that's the best way to turn him heel.
Let me make you just a little bit giggly, just a little bit giggly,
or giggity.
No, giggly, not giggity. We're not talking about sex here. We're talking about wrestling. Okay? So he did kick Randy in the nads. He did. He also stole a lot of Randy Orton's maneuvers during the match. He did steal an RKO, which they called a cutter, because the only one that could give an RKO is Randy Orton. He did steal the DDT from the middle rope. There were quite a few other things. He did try to punt Randy Orton, which I thought was really fucking hilarious. My highlight of this match is that fucking poor Pat McAfee took an RKO. That was a beautiful thing. Because Orton accidentally RKO'd the referee, and because Jelly Roll took out Pat McAfee in the beginning of the match before the bell rang.
Put him through a table.
He put him through the table. And McAfee came out in the ugliest referee shirt known to man. Not even a WWE issued shirt.
Wait, who did?
McAfee.
Oh, right.
And because he didn't deliver a 3 count, Orton RKO'd him in the neck brace, and out McAfee went. But with Cody Rhodes retaining and the crowd extremely not happy, there were signs of heel because he was trying to use the voices in his head to go through all of these lovely maneuvers of stealing Randy Orton shit. And he pinned him after a crossroads. The referee miraculously wakes up and gives a 3 count. However, this is where there's going to be a rematch at the next PLE, which I think is coming up in May. Randy Orton not only RKOs Cody Rhodes, but he also punts Cody in the head, leaving a vulnerable, lifeless champion in front of his wife and kid at WrestleMania 42 in the middle of the ring, dropping the belt on him and walking out. So this is not over.
Oh no. There's one thing I need to ask you if you noticed. When Randy Orton was making his entrance, what was the crowd doing?
Cheering.
They were doing more than cheering. They were singing. You know how fans,
this is notorious. They always do it.
They always do, because let's be honest, AEW fans, Jericho, the Judas, dude, I've done it. The 2 AEW shows I've been to, I sang along with the crowd, and guess what? I loved it.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you as we kind of switch back to the WrestleMania graphic. As much as I would have loved to have seen Cody lose, you got to remember it's the same elements like I just said before about the heel turn. You really can't do it right now. You really can't do it right now. It's just
Do you
not.
really?
It's just not the time to take Cody out of that spotlight right now.
Okay. But do you believe that it's going to happen of one way or the other?
It will eventually. But the
And when it does,
question,
who
but the question I have to counteract that is, if you do it, do you necessarily need to have a heel champion have it, or do you still want a face champion have it?
that's a good question, but if okay, well, when he turns heel, who becomes the top babyface?
You got to go with somebody you already know. You got to go
Is it
back to
Randy
some.
Orton?
You got to. You're not going to turn him face. You're going to leave him
No.
heel because he's good at it. Obviously,
All right.
you're going to
We all
probably have to go to some guys that you were using. You know what their capabilities are. Why can't you put Seth back there?
there you go.
If you still have CM Punk as champion at the end of night 2, you still have CM Punk as a base.
But
Like
Seth
there are
Rollins is a better option. You know why?
because he's already on that program and he'll probably run with the title better.
Well, that's true, but I'm going to take it a step higher because the two have history. Remember years ago, WrestleMania and then the Hell in a Cell match?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? Back then, Cody was the face. So now you see this is called reverse psychology. Now you see it the other way around. I mean, here's something. Okay. How many times have we seen Kane and Undertaker feud?
Quite a few.
You know, this is where I catch people off guard. There's one particular way we never saw it. And everyone's like, how? We never saw it with Kane as the face. We never saw them feud with Undertaker as the heel, unless I'm missing something. But as far as I know, no, Kane was always the heel. But people will say it wouldn't have made sense. I mean,
No, because
okay.
most of the times
Yeah.
when they were in the ring together, they were always the Brothers of Destruction.
Right.
So you either got to see the face version of that or you got to see the heel version of that.
Right. But
those are two figures that if you really kind of chronologically look through like the course of time, they could only do it for so long. There was not like an extremely long period of time where you saw them stay face or stay heel. It was
exactly.
almost like changing the channel on the TV. If you got bored of a program so long, you just changed it to hopefully that it got better. With Cody in this
Right.
case, the only way you're really going to turn him heel is if he loses the title and then finds at some point he can't get back to the mountaintop. Kind of like what he did with the whole storyline with Drew. Like, that's the only way you're going to see that shit happen.
Right.
But again, you got to get him away from all of the public appearances and the commercials and everything else. And if he's making money doing that, he ain't going to stop doing it. You're going to see Cody Rhodes get stuck in that John Cena syndrome.
I mean,
That's
heels.
what you're going to see. You could see glimpses of it and still keep him face. But at the same rate, if you got something that's making you money right now, especially with advertising, you're not going to kick it to the curb.
No, you're not. So
You're
you
not
know
going to
what?
kick it to the curb. So you got to leave it alone. There are other options, I'm sure. But
I mean,
this is not something you could really do right now.
if Cody turns heel, he'd still sell merch. I mean, especially if he's feuding with high babyface Seth Rollins. I mean, hey, fans are going to be invested in it. I sure as hell will be. Babyface Rollins versus heel Cody Rhodes. Hey, sign me up for that. But it's got to be built properly. And it's got to be executed properly. Because let me tell you this: if they rush it, it's already ruined. If they rush it, it's ruined already. At least the first domino, the dominoes are beginning to show. I mean, the first domino is already, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to build it. Okay, but I'm just that kind of wrestling fan that, of course, we all have our selfish desires in wrestling. I want to see the villain version of Cody Rhodes. I mean, we've seen him as a heel before, but we've never seen him heel as where he is today. Well, we did. Well, no, that's not true. I mean, when he was Bullet Club, he was heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for night 1 here at Ringside Chaos. We hope you have enjoyed the program, all the analysis. And I'm going to say this, and I don't know how much we truly do say this. Your opinion does matter. So do yourselves a favor, wherever this is going to be, whether this is going to be on any of the regular audio listening platforms or even the video platforms where we're going to post this video, please throw us your opinions. We like opinions. Even though we think opinions are like assholes, we still kind of respect them anyway. So leave your opinions in the comment sections, no matter where you are watching or listening to this, because we'd like to know what you think. Keep them clean, though, but leave your opinions down in the comment sections. Bearman, finish us out, baby. Let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Ringside Chaos on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for audio-only purposes. You will find this video on the Pipe Bomb Radio New York City YouTube channel and wherever the Master of Mayhem decides to post it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is taking things to a much higher level.
On behalf of the Bearman, it's yours truly, the Master of Mayhem. This is Ringside Chaos, and we'll catch you next time.
Adios.